Today, on our very first episode of Star Wars Changes Lives, we're going to be featuring my best friend, Brandon Griffin.
Hello there.
Welcome to the very first episode of Star Wars Changes Lives. My name's Derek.
I'm Brandon.
And we're here today to talk about simply how Star Wars changes lives. The reason that I decided to create this video blog was because it's my dream to be in a Star Wars movie, to be part of Star Wars canon somehow. And so it's going to be a lot in order to get there. I have to become a certified actor in Britain. I have to get headshots and pay for flights to potentially LA and Britain.
Learn how to play the trumpet.
You know, that would probably be a good skill to have on the side. But I wanted to be able to create this video series on not just Star Wars itself or, you know, like the canon or how it was made, but more so about why it's important and how it's affected people over the years. And so to really kick that off, we thought it'd be great to bring in my superfan friend, Brandon Griffin.
That's me.
So we actually met over Star Wars, didn't we?
Did we?
It was either that or you were like creating a video.
Probably.
It was sophomore year.
I've been making videos since I was probably about 8 or 9 years old.
Right. Yeah.
And Star Wars was a key inspiration for that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so, and that kind of funnels into like what we wanted to talk about today for the show is 3 questions. And we're going to ask each other this. So the first question is, what is your very first Star Wars movie you saw and how old you were? Second question is how Star Wars has impacted your life as a whole. And the third thing we're going to do is how we've noticed each other. Well, how we've noticed Star Wars impact each other's lives. So we'll start off with the first question. Brandon, what is the very first Star Wars film you saw and how old were you?
Well, this is kind of this is a good story. So I was probably 4 or 5 years old.
Okay.
And I saw the original Star Wars movie, A New Hope. And I remember, because my sister owned one of the old VHS sets,
Okay.
and we would always go in and, you know, I would see it there, and I wanted to see the movie with the lightsaber fight. And on the cover, it had Darth Vader right there. Mm-hmm. So I always wanted to see that one. Mm-hmm. It wasn't until later that I realized they all have a lightsaber fight, and the whole original trilogy has Darth Vader in it. But I actually did not even see the rest of the original trilogy until after I saw Attack of the Clones.
Okay.
So the first movie I saw in theaters was The Phantom Menace with my brother, and that's really when it started.
So you were introduced to the prequels?
Mostly, yeah.
Okay.
So episode 4, and then I went back, and the whole spoiler in Empire Strikes Back was completely ruined for me by my other sister.
Oh, that sounds.
Yeah, she just said, hey, this is that, and also Luke and Leia, da-da-da. So.
That's cool. So what's funny is that's kind of my similar interaction was I was like 5 years old, and I was at like my friend's house across the street, and
well, my wife just got home. She's in the window.
Okay, so here's one thing you have to know. We had to use Brandon's house because I have like 5 dudes living in my apartment, and so he might have to go get his wife real quick. Now we're back. Brandon's wife is now in the house, so things are okay. So my first experience with episode 1 was I was 5 years old and I was living in Pennsylvania.
Episode 1 was the first movie you saw?
Episode 1 was the first movie I saw.
I'm sorry.
Okay, no, I think it's really good. I like episode 1.
It's got one of the
I
best
stand with
lightsabers.
Roger Ebert. Yeah, one of the best
One of the
lightsaber
best
fights.
lightsabers.
Maul.
By far.
And so I remember walking. We were at our friend's house, and I was walking into this basement, and my siblings and our friends were watching episode 1 on the screen, and the scene that I saw actually was the legendary fight between Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and Darth Maul. And so that was my very first interaction, and I remember as I was growing up, we got Star Wars episode 1 on VHS, and the only scene that I would like fast forward to, I would skip 2 hours in the movie just to watch the end scene. So I've probably seen that end scene about 200 times.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's such a good one. And you're not a big fan of episode 2. Is that true?
So I like episode 2. I love all the Star Wars movies, which is why I'm doing it. But like, if I had to leave one of my children on an island, I would leave episode 2 on that island.
Okay. Yeah, so he and I, we've had arguments. See, I think one is the worst of them. He thinks two is the worst. Go ahead and leave a comment and tell us your favorite Star Wars in order.
Yeah.
Let's
even narrow that down. Which one's better, Episode 1 or Episode 2? Leave that in the comments below. I want to hear that. Okay.
You're gonna be sorry. I'm gonna win.
Yeah, I'm gonna be sorry for you because you'll lose. So moving on. So next question we're gonna go into is how Star Wars. So Brandon, how has Star Wars changed your life as a whole?
Well, like I said, it started off. I started off early. As a young child, I still have my first toy lightsaber actually.
Oh really?
Yeah, I should have brought it. It's like like Qui-Gon's handle, but it's a blue blade, one of those ones you pull the button out and go. All my other ones have broke. That one stayed true. They don't make lightsabers like they used to. Mm-hmm. But I used to play recess in elementary school. We'd be out with just our hands, looking like fools out there. But we weren't ashamed. It's Star Wars.
Right.
And so as a young kid, big impact on my life. I've seen the movie countless times, all of them, mm-hmm. and it really got me into filmmaking. My brother took me to at the public library. There was this little Star Wars thing going on. These guys all dressed up in their like legit costumes, mm-hmm. and they showed us these videos that people like me, like fans of the movie, had made that had like Darth Vader in it and lightsabers, and this one guy was showing us how to do that kind of thing, and I was just, whoa, I can actually do this? And so that's how I got started. And so Star Wars, it's the same story as any director, famous director. I'm not famous, mm-hmm. but Star Wars is the inspiration behind it all, and so my major is video production. Everything I'm doing now in pursuit of my career came from Star Wars. I'm a little similar to Brandon on this, and so my family actually does not like Star Wars. Like no one in my family watches it. Like I think my brother watched a few and then he kind of phased out, and then I started watching it and I didn't stop. And there's one day where I love my mother. There's one day where my mother pulled me apart, and I was 16 years old. And she said, "Derek, your liking of Star Wars should have ended when you were 12. And sorry. But yeah, my sister's I thought this was, she said this recently, she said, I thought it was just a phase that was going to die. It never did. And so it just continued with me, and I ended up finding a lot of inspiration out of it. I created a lot of movies in mind with Star Wars. I watch the movies, I look up fan fiction, and it's also just kind of been a source of inspiration. At Star Wars Celebration recently, Mark Hamill was talking about this kid who lost his arm in the hospital, and he said, I think it's all going to be okay because if Luke Skywalker can become a powerful Jedi without an arm, so can I. And that was my same thing, is whenever I was scared or frightened as a kid, or when bad experiences were happening, I would always look to Star Wars as that example. And so it's always a source of inspiration. Should we tell them about the time you and I were thinking about going to a celebration and how your mom responded? Oh, no, I forgot about that. Tell. From what I remember that you told me is that, because we had it in mind, we're that would be so cool to go to a Star Wars celebration, or dress up as Jedi and get it all planned out and go. And it was kind of just a thing we were contemplating, just taking the summer and heading down to Orlando or something. But about around that time, and your mom had no idea that we had this idea, but she just went up to Derek and was like, "Derek, I can tolerate your love for Star Wars now. Just promise me you'll never go to one of those convention things." And then we're like, "Oh, yeah, no." Were you there? No, I wasn't there. You told me about it later. Okay. But, that kind of... I think that's when I canceled the plans. Yeah, we kind of took a look at our lives. And it's not bad. I would still love to go to Salt Lake Comic-Con or sometime in... Well, okay, and I will have... My mom is awesome. She supports this, what I'm doing right now. So yeah, she's great. She's very supportive. So just putting that out there. Okay, let's move on to our last question. Okay. Memories that we have about each other knowing that we were huge fans. We kind of already talked about a few, but what were you saying that
was a moment where you really realized that like Star Wars changed my life?
This is the final question?
Yeah, final question.
Okay. Well, I would have to say, well, first off, to preface this, one thing about Derek is he's one of the people that makes Star Wars cool. We have a friend, a former roommate of mine, Cabe. Cabe, I think it was him who said he didn't realize. No, maybe it was Daniel. It was one of my roommates at one point said he didn't realize how cool Star Wars was. He just thought it was kind of a nerdy, geeky thing, until he met us and realized, wow, this is actually really cool. And he got into it and realizes it's a lot of fun. And that's one thing about Derek is he's always just, it's giving you confidence. As weird of a thing as that is to say, but you know that when someone like Derek asks a girl in high school to a dance, playing Across the Stars, the love theme from Star Wars, on a beatbox, that nothing is going to stop Derek at all.
That was a really good dance, too. Brandon's entire life was impacted by Star Wars. There's no question about that. And I actually went and filmed his wedding. And at the toast ceremony, almost every one of his siblings and parents mentioned that he liked Star Wars. Just like out of the blue, because it's that important to him. And so...
And no, we did not have a Star Wars themed wedding.
No, he did not have a Star Wars themed wedding. But there was one moment that I caught. And I was really impressed because Brandon's wife, Amy, was totally down to do this.
It was her parents'
idea. It was her parents' idea. And so, you know how like most people go out of their wedding, they have like sparklers or bubbles, and it's really cute. So that was not Amy's idea. So I actually have video here that I'm going to show you guys. Right. As evidence that Brandon's life was totally changed by Star Wars, here's a clip from his wedding. See, I really like this. Like, it was unique, and like everyone got a lightsaber, and like if you look at your face, like I think like
got hit in the face.
Oh yeah, you did get hit in the face. But like Amy was like, okay, like this is kind of cool. Like, I'm glad I did this for Brandon. But you were just like, when I filmed it, you were just like amazed. Like you were like within this like trance. Like I just remember like filming you, and you were just like like going around. It was like 5-year-old Brandon came back out.
Yeah, which it's not hard to do when you bring up Star Wars. Bring out 5-year-old Brandon.
It's true. So that concludes our first episode. If you please like this video and subscribe below to more videos, we're going to be coming out with them every single week. And we are going to start a tradition where in the comments below you can suggest what we do for the end of our episode. And so we went on Facebook before this, and we are going to pull out the Star Wars themed act that we are going to do.
Okay.
Which one did you decide on?
The best one comes from Jack, and he says, to act out, a Tosche Station used power converter salesman cons Luke into buying a lemon.
Do you have a lemon?
Yeah, so lemon's like a bad car.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Hey sir, do you have any power converters?
Oh, no, we have no power converters, but let me tell you, we have this brand new Speeda.
No,
Speeda. You're looking for power converters for a Speeda? I've got a Speeda.
I came all the way to Tosche Station to pick up some power converters.
You thought you came to Tosche Station to pick up some power converters. What you came was to get a brand new T17 top of the line Speeda bike.
We already have a T16.
Oh, well, that's why you need the T17. There's so many new features. We got free blue milk. Have you gotten blue milk?
Man, is it free?
Yeah,
I was going to ask.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So we'll just have you sign right here.
No.
Yeah.
Look, I'll have you know, I can bullseye a bump rat in a T16.
That's good.
I can navigate Beggar's Canyon. No problem. I don't need a T17 right now. I'm just here for some power converters.
Okay. So we have power converters in the T17.
And cut.